I'm one of those people that have never had a group of friends, a group of girls. I've always had male friends in like school, growing up. I've never had a group to hang around with. Even as an adult, all of my friends are scattered across the globe. Some friendships are not friendships anymore, some friendships have fizzled out, and some are brand new and I'm working on them. This is kind of following up from the recent trend on TikTok of people talking about not having their girls and not feeling like they have any friends at all. And it's honestly so relatable. Like, I relate to this so much just because sometimes you question yourself if you're the problem, why don't people like me? When really it's just right time, right place, and the right people. And I know that's cheesy and it might not be realistic, but what we're gonna do in this video is to talk about the positives and be creative about ways that we can actually make friends as adults. It's not always easy. You're probably gonna have to get out of your comfort zone and be really uncomfortable, but I think it's quite fun and it's exciting. You only get one life, and what's wrong with just randomly putting yourself out there and talking to people? I don't want to do it, but I kind of need to because I have no friends. So yeah, let's talk about friendships. So making friends. I think this is something that I'm thinking about more recently than before because I'm living in a new country. I don't have any connections other than my boyfriend. Of course, people want friends. You don't want to just be hanging around with your boyfriend all the time. So I've been trying to get myself out there and do things and be a bit more uncomfortable to try and, yeah, widen my network. I would try like smaller studios, like independent ones, where you're probably gonna get people that are like-minded, maybe you're living in a new city, don't have any friends yet, and are open to having conversations. So to give you an example, I joined a yoga studio in Portugal where I'm living, and it's really, really small. I didn't know anyone, I didn't know what the vibes were, but I went and I did a class, and I spoke to like 2 people like straight away, because you just talk because you're uncomfortable because you're by yourself. Talking to someone, and then this person was also a yoga instructor, and even though I was really nervous, she was hosting a beach yoga the next weekend. I went on my own, she had some of her other friends there, and afterwards we all went and got a coffee and we sat and we just talked. So that was like basically 3 new friendships all in the space of like a week. And something that I'm trying to get into the habit of doing more is just asking people for their Instagram handle. And I know it can be like a little bit awkward, but I just kind of phrase it like, what's your Instagram? Like, honestly, I can feel my face turning red when I'm doing it in the moment, but it's always beneficial because then I think you get to know someone more if you can see them online. They're probably going to be more reminded of you and like what you're doing. And then like you guys can just like message and then maybe make a plan. Another alternative that you could try is by hosting a dinner party, and you could call it a friends of friends dinner party or drinks or whatever you wanted to do. But I think a dinner party could be quite cute because especially if you're in your mid-20s, I feel like people love like wholesome vibes more so, and everyone could bring a little dish. But you could tell your friends to just bring a friend of theirs, someone that you haven't met before. And especially if you already have friends but you're just looking to make more, you can just be honest with them and explain that like you just kind of want to put yourself out there a bit more and just make some new connections. So it wouldn't be a weird thing at all. And you could say that you've got a friend of a friend coming that they haven't met before. So it's just a really nice idea to get together and like mingle. You have a friend that is asking if you want to join them at the pub or go to a workout class or go on a walk with them because they've got like friends there. 100% always jump on those opportunities. Even if you don't want to, even if you're being lazy, I think it's the best opportunity. There's a lot of times that I've done that and I'm like not in the mood, the music is not the vibe if I'm in like a party kind of scene, or I just don't get along with the people that are there, and that's absolutely fine because I know that I'm so fussy and so selective about who I spend my time with. So I heard someone say this in a video recently, but going to your local coffee shop, especially if you're in a new place or you're trying somewhere new, go there as often as you can, because 1, the baristas are going to start to recognize you. They might ask your name, or like they'll know your coffee order and you can just start talking to them. You can go to that coffee shop, you can sit down, like maybe there's a certain table that you like to sit at, or you sit outside and you read a book. And if you continue to show up and kind of have presence there, people will start to recognize you, and they might even like feel comfortable enough to like come over and approach you. Be awkward and be like, what's your Instagram? Like, I would love to like do something with you at some point. A bit of a weird one. So Instagram and TikTok. I have made so many friends from Instagram and TikTok. It's actually crazy. I've got a friend that I followed since 2020. We talk all the time now and we're like really, really good friends. And exact same as that, when I moved to Lisbon, my TikTok algorithm was showing me a lot of places and like cafes and people that are obviously within the area, which is really cool because then you can see people that are like your vibe. You follow them, you like their posts, and maybe follow them on Instagram. And it sounds kind of creepy, but it's also not. It's just so normal. It's how people like interact with social media anyway. And then if that person is similar to you, of course they'll follow you back. I've had multiple people reach out and suggest meeting up and grabbing coffee because I'm new. So I'm supposed to have a friend date next week, which is so exciting. I guess if you're in your hometown, like that makes it a little bit more difficult because I'm sure you could be living somewhere like really, really small and everyone knows each other. But at the same time as that, you could make friends that live like the other side of the world, and you could be online friends. And then in the future when you travel, you guys could meet up. When I lived in London, I didn't do any of them, but lonely girl like meetups or like walking clubs or book clubs. Everyone that's gonna go is gonna be alone and without a friend. Well, without friends in a new city. And then you ask for their Instagram and then you meet up with them separately and you have a friend. So one of my ex best friends actually, so when she was in London, she used Bumble, but Bumble Friends. I've never actually used it before. So it definitely works, and I'm not sure what countries it's like used in, or maybe there's like other variations like Tinder or Hinge, but I think that's a really great idea because you've got like a profile, you've obviously got like what you're into, like what kind of person you are. Because I guess there could be people that like love partying and love going out, but you might be someone that loves baking and going to bed at 7 p.m. So like maybe that might not be a perfect fit. And if you're someone that's been on like a first date before, which I'm sure you have, like of course they can be awkward, but I think you get into the mind frame of being like, fuck it, like I'm just having fun. They're getting to know me, I'm getting to know them, and just treat it like the exact same. It doesn't have to be like an interview format of asking questions. Just let it flow, get a drink, be chill, and everything will be fine. Now that we're kind of talking about dating, I think dating is great if you don't really have a lot of friends. But at the same time, I know when I was in London, it's not something that I ever did, but there was an app called Thursday, and they would host singles events, which I'm sure you could go to, and there's going to be loads of other single girls that you can talk to and become best friends with. Like obviously the aim of the game is to go and like meet potential significant others, but there's going to be so many other single people that are like, you know, could be your friend. A solo trip, like that's quite fun. It's ballsy, but it's definitely quite fun. So one of my best friends is traveling in Australia right now, and she's gone over there alone. She's got no friends. Her brother is in like a part of Australia, but she's now traveling everywhere, and she knows no one, but she's putting herself out there in every possible way. So she's staying in hostels, which would not be my favorite, but I think it's so great because you're in a room with so many other girls or guys, and well, you just have to talk to them and like get along with them, and you're probably going to go and do activities. She's also joining like day trips. She went on like a boat trip for the day, which turned out to be mostly full of couples. If you just talk to people, find out like what is popular, what is good, anything like that, because it's great. Normally afterwards you'll have some time where you can talk and mingle and kind of get to know each other. This is kind of boring, but I think your job, like depending on where you're working, work friends are always great. Like wherever I've worked, I've always come out of it with a really, really strong friendship. That's definitely something to try, even if it's not something that you want to work on right now because you're like, I hate my job, I hate the people that I work with. But give it some time and you might actually find that maybe someone joins that you really, really get along with, or you just build a bit of a friendship. It could take a year, but putting the time in and getting to know someone a bit more, especially outside of a professional environment, should help. I don't know if this is up your street, But going out, going to raves, music events, festivals when it's summer, always so much fun. I've got this friend that I met at a festival 5 years ago, and I go with him to festivals now. I'm supposed to be going with him to a party next week in the Netherlands. And you never know, like you might actually have way more reasons to vibe with this person than just music. So I think it's always beneficial to like have the conversations, exchange Instagrams. If it goes nowhere, then you could just unfollow each other. But it's definitely something to try and keep in mind, because yeah, I think it's worked for me, it's worked for people that I know, and what a fun way to make friends. Maybe it sparked some ideas or thoughts in your mind of something that you can do and try. I know what I just always rely on is the coffee shop one, and going to workout classes and talking to people, especially like smaller studios, because I think before the class starts, like it's normally always a bit uncomfortable, and then you're just talking to someone to fill up silence. So my challenge to you, even in the next month, is to try one of these things and come back and please tell me how it went, because as I've said, it's something that I'm constantly working on, and we can just be here together. Plus, if you want to be friends, please message me on Instagram, because I just love people. I love talking to people that are similar to me. If you live in Portugal, we could get coffee and just create like a little group of pals that just want more pals, because yeah, why not? Maybe we can even start a club. But to finish, it is so normal to not have your girls, because I don't think a lot of people do. I don't even really know if I've got like a best friend. It's tough because a lot of my friends are further away and they live in different countries, so it's always difficult to like, you know, keep in touch and feel like your relationship is still the same as it was. I hope that you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week for another video. Have a fabulous week. Lots of love.